My friends, I need you to listen closely because what's happening right now has left thousands of Australian seniors completely confused and heartbroken. Many people woke up to check their bank accounts this week only to find something shocking. Their Centrelink pension payment was lower than usual. Some saw cuts of $50, others hundreds. For people already struggling to pay rent, buy food, or cover their medications, even a small reduction can feel devastating. And the worst part, it wasn't their fault. This is not just another rumor. It's a real-world problem affecting everyday pensioners, old Australians who worked their entire lives, who trusted the system, and who now feel betrayed. Imagine planning your budget carefully, making sure every dollar goes where it needs to, and then suddenly realizing you've been paid less, without warning. That's exactly what's happening right now. Before we go further, please take a quick moment to subscribe to this channel if you care about truth, clarity, and real updates for seniors. Here we talk about the things that matter: your payments, your pension rights, and your financial safety. Your subscription helps spread awareness to others who may not even realize their payments have been affected. Let's be honest, for most pensioners, that fortnightly Centrelink deposit isn't just income. It's their peace of mind. It's the difference between turning on the heater on a cold morning or shivering to save power. It's the reason they can afford their blood pressure medication or a few fresh groceries each week. So when that payment drops, even slightly, it creates anxiety that most policymakers could never understand. Many seniors have already started calling the Centrelink helpline, waiting on hold for hours just to ask one question: why was my pension reduced? And for some, the answers have only created more confusion. Some are being told it's a data issue. Others are hearing about income reassessments or reporting adjustments. But none of those words help when the rent is due. This is why today's update is so important. We are going to talk calmly and clearly about what's actually happening, what caused this mistake, and, most importantly, what you can do if it happened to you or someone you love. From what we've learned so far, the issue appears to have started with automatic recalculations inside Centrelink's system. These recalculations are designed to adjust payments when someone's financial details change, like if you report a new income, if your partner's situation changes, or if an indexation rule updates. Normally, these adjustments are correct. But over the past few weeks, multiple pensioners across Australia, from Sydney to Perth, have reported sudden, unexplained reductions. Some of these changes are linked to Centrelink's annual data refresh, when systems check tax records, savings, and reporting overlaps. In many cases, the system tries to predict or estimate income or assets using ATO data. Unfortunately, for some people, that estimate has gone wrong. For example, if your bank interest was reported higher than it actually is, the system may assume you're earning more and automatically lower your pension payment. Centrelink has acknowledged there were processing delays and mismatched data updates that led to temporary adjustments in some accounts. While they say these will be corrected automatically, many seniors are left in the dark, not knowing when the fix will arrive. This situation has triggered a wave of frustration. Imagine calling Centrelink, finally getting through, and being told it should be fixed in the next cycle. That might sound fine to someone behind a desk, but for a retiree trying to survive on a fixed income, waiting 2 more weeks for a correction isn't easy. It can mean skipping meals or asking family for help. And for many proud seniors, asking for help is humiliating. It's heartbreaking to see people who've worked 40 or 50 years now forced to fight for clarity about their own entitlements. Many of them aren't even sure how to check their online records or upload new documents because the process feels overly technical. Some live in rural areas with limited internet access, so they depend entirely on what Centrelink tells them over the phone, which can vary from one officer to another. Centrelink is reportedly prioritizing a manual review process, which means staff will check affected accounts one by one. But this takes time. And again, time is something pensioners can't afford when bills are due today. If you're listening right now and wondering, could this be me? There's a simple way to start checking. Log into your MyGov account, go to Centrelink, and click Payment and Claim Details. There, you'll see your payment history. Look for your last few payments. If the most recent amount is lower than before, and you haven't reported any changes in your circumstances, you might be affected. If you don't use MyGov, you can check your paper statement or even call Centrelink directly. It's important to be calm and clear when you talk to them. Explain that you've noticed a reduction and ask if your account is under review. Keep a record of the date you called and the name of the person you spoke to, because that can help if you need to escalate your case later. And remember, don't panic. These reductions are being described as temporary. In many cases, the system will restore the missing amount automatically. But if it doesn't, it's absolutely your right to request a reassessment or even a back payment. This isn't the first time Centrelink has made a technical mistake. Over the years, we've seen similar issues, from underpayments to overpayments, caused by system errors or delayed updates from the ATO. The truth is, the technology behind these programs is extremely complex, and when one small thing goes wrong, it can affect thousands. Experts have been warning for years that the automation systems inside Centrelink need more transparency. They are powerful, but when errors happen, they hit the most vulnerable people, the elderly, people with disabilities, and those living on fixed incomes. Even the so-called robo-debt scandal taught us that automation without oversight can lead to injustice. And while this current situation is nowhere near that scale, it's another reminder that technology must serve people, not punish them. Behind every number, there's a human story. There's Margaret, 78, from Adelaide, who said her pension dropped by $92 last week without explanation. She couldn't afford her usual groceries and had to skip buying fresh produce. There's Peter, 74, who takes medication daily for diabetes. When his payment arrived short, he had to delay refilling his prescription. These stories aren't about luxury or extra spending, they are about survival. For many seniors, the pension is the only stable income they have. It's not about saving for the future anymore, it's about living day to day with dignity. And when that dignity is shaken, the emotional toll can be just as painful as the financial one. That's why this issue matters for all Australians, not just pensioners. Because how we treat our elders says everything about who we are as a nation. As of now, there hasn't been an official televised statement from the Minister for Social Services, but sources within the department have confirmed they are aware of the glitch and working to identify all affected cases. Some MPs have even begun raising the issue publicly, calling for an investigation and immediate communication to all pensioners potentially affected. Advocacy groups such as the National Seniors Australia and the Australian Council of Social Service, ACOS, have also stepped in. They've urged the government to provide clarity and ensure no pensioner loses a cent due to administrative mistakes. According to ACOS, even a delay of 1 week in correcting payments can lead to serious hardship for older Australians living below the poverty line. This pressure might push Centrelink to act faster, but until official communication reaches every affected person, confusion will continue. To understand why this is such a big deal, we have to talk about the larger context. Australia is going through one of the toughest cost of living periods in decades. Food prices, rent, energy bills, everything is higher. Many seniors already struggle to stretch their fortnightly pension to cover even the basics. When a mistake reduces their payment, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Imagine being a 76-year-old living alone in a small apartment, turning off the heater because the power bill has gone up again. Now imagine losing another $100 unexpectedly because of a system glitch. For many seniors, that's the difference between comfort and cold, between medication and meals. That's why awareness is crucial. If you know someone who receives the age pension or disability support pension, please tell them to check their payments this week. Sometimes seniors are too trusting of the system. They assume everything is fine unless told otherwise. But in times like these, it's better to double-check. When things like this happen, the best thing seniors can do, besides reporting individual cases, is to speak up collectively. Write to your local MP, call community support organisations. Share your story in pensioner forums or local groups. When the government sees real stories and hears real voices, it becomes harder for them to ignore what's happening. And don't underestimate the power of unity. The senior community in Australia is strong. You've built this country with your hands and your hard work. You deserve transparency, respect, and fairness from the system you contributed to all your life. Let's pause for a moment. If you're a senior watching this, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not alone in this. Mistakes like these can feel personal, as if the system is against you, but please know that your frustration is justified. You have every right to feel angry or disappointed. What matters now is making sure every affected person gets their money back and that the government ensures this never happens again. And for the younger viewers watching, maybe you're a son, daughter, or grandchild of a pensioner, this is your chance to check in on your loved ones. Ask them if their pension payment looked different this time. Help them log into their MyGov account. Sometimes, just a few minutes of help can save days of stress. In the next part of this video, we'll go deeper into what exactly went wrong inside Centrelink's system, how these payment calculations work, and what kind of timeline seniors can expect for correction. We'll also talk about the official response from Services Australia, including what they've promised to do for those affected. So stay tuned, my friends. And if you haven't already, please make sure you've subscribed and turned on notifications, because the next update could include the timeline for the payment corrections. And that's something every pensioner deserves to know. Now that we understand how deeply this issue has affected pensioners, let's open the curtain and look at what really happened inside the system. Because for most people, Centrelink is a mystery. You apply, you get approved, and every fortnight money arrives in your account. But behind that simple process lies one of the most complicated government systems in Australia, a machine that handles millions of records every day. When you receive a pension, your payment is calculated based on something called a means test. This means the system looks at your income, savings, investments, and sometimes your partner's financial situation to decide how much you get. The idea is to make the system fair so that those with fewer resources get more help. But it also means that if any number, even a small one, is entered incorrectly, the whole calculation changes. During the recent update period, Centrelink's automated tools scanned through hundreds of thousands of accounts to update data from the Australian Tax Office, ATO, and the banks. Unfortunately, some of those updates didn't line up correctly. In some cases, the ATO still showed an old savings balance or outdated interest rate. The computer then assumed that pensioners were earning more interest than they actually were and automatically reduced their age pension. That's how a few lines of incorrect code ended up hurting real people. So stay tuned, my friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. That's how you'll know the moment new updates are confirmed. We'll continue together, calmly and clearly, because everyone deserves to know the truth about their payments.